What's up, card fighters? Today I'm bringing you a deck profile of Machining Premium. Sorry it's taking me a little bit longer to get this deck profile done. Just with the holidays coming around and being busy with work, couldn't really get my hands on the deck to practice with, let alone get any kind of practice at all. Other than that, let's get started. For my grade zeros, I run 4 draw triggers, 3 draw PGs, 1 Stochea draw trigger that gets the 5k shield when placed on Guardian Circle, and 7 crit and 1 Stochea over trigger. Pretty basic lineup minus the 4th draw PG, as that has been replaced with the new grade 1 order card. Other than that, that's really it. I'm running 3 Crybristers, 3 Little Dorcas, 3 High Class Moth, 2 of our new order card, which its name escapes my memory, and the new order PG. Yes, the grade 1 lineup is a little bit low on ride targets, but it's just something that I was testing with and I kind of enjoy it to help with the rushing for the grade 2 game just a bit more. Crybrister is still a good card for pure machinings. When it's arrested by one of your effects, you get to check the top 3 for a machining card, call it to rearguard, and bomb deck the rest in any order you want. Really good to help cycle through your deck, try and find cards you still need on the board. Little Dorcas says top 5 for grade 3, add to hand discard 1, generic stuff. Moth is a great countercharger and also stops intercepts. The reason why I'm running the order card is because it's just like Spiritual Body Condensation, but instead of 5k power, it lets you check the top 3, and you can put one of the 3 cards you check into your drop zone, then shuffle your deck, and call a card from your drop zone that is the same grade or less as your Vanguard, so it can help dig you deeper into your pieces for this deck, specifically. Good card, I'm liking it. Yeah, it doesn't give you 5k for, like Condensation does, but to dig 3 cards deeper on the top of your deck to try and find a combo card, I feel like is a little bit more powerful. Then you have the Order PG, which is fantastic. You can still use it as a regular PG, but if your opponent has the triple drive icon via Stride, or if there's a grade 3 with triple drive icon like the overdressed boss units, it's a free PG. You just slap it down and it guards. And there's also gets around guard restricts, so no grade 1s or greater, can't be nullified by like Robos, for example, or anything like that. Just a really great card all around. Other than that, that's really for the grade 1s. For my grade 2 lineup, I'm running 4 Machining Armor Beetle, 3 Machining Red Soldier, 4 Machining Scatterhorn, and 2 Spree Wasper. Machining Armor Beetle, as I've praised in the past videos that he's been in my decks. Rest one of your rearguards to stun one of your opponent's rearguards, and force rest it too. He gets 6k power. Then when he's at rest, your opponent cannot boost or intercept in his column. Red Soldier, he is just a 12k attacker if you have a Machining Vanguard, and that's all that he does. So you can help hit, protect, and excel decks, and help keep the aggression on in the early game when you rush. So if you drop 8k behind him, he's a 20k, helps hit the 10k grade 2 bodies, and demanding more guard threshold. Scatterhorn, when placed on Vanguard or rearguard from hand, check the top 6 cards for a non-grade 2 machining card, add it to your hand. If you add a card from your hand, put a card from your hand into your soul, shuffle your deck. Scatterhorn helps, again, look for pieces that you need for your deck. Its second skill is an act, Vanguard Rearguard, Soul Blast 1, and Rest Machining Rearguard to stun one of your opponent's rearguards. Other than that, that's really it for that card. The reason why I'm running Spree Wasper is, at first I thought this card wasn't as good when I first read it, but once I realized that we have our brand new Stride, which minuses 10k power, this helps hit over force decks, overdress decks, and stuff like that very easily because it's a 13k attacker, which instead of a 5k guard is now more. It's demanding a 15k block and all that. So I like it. It's good at 2, and it's not because, you know, oh, it fits the Mechanic aspect. If this was a Neo-Nectar looking unit, Aquaforce or whatever, it would still find its way into this deck. Other than that, that's really for the grade 2s. For my grade 3 lineup, very simple. 4 Black Saturn, 4 Meteor Bullets, 4 Heal Guardians. Heal Guardians do what they do best. They're heal triggers, and they are 15k shields. Can be used for G guards, and can just help defend yourself in the early game while you're grade 2 or less. Meteor Bullet, Vanguard Rearguard. If you have 5 or more rearguards, all of your machinings get boost, so they can boost in the back row. Then his second skill is Vanguard Rearguard. Rest one of your machining rearguards, and he gets 10k power, so he becomes a very strong attacker and booster at the same time. Black Saturn, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Stand all of your rearguards, give them plus 5,000 power. your Vanguard gets drive +1 until end of turn, and your opponent's Vanguard loses drive -1 until the end of their turn. So if you're going first and you get this skill off, and if your opponent's grade stuck at 2, they couldn't ride or they failed the G assist, they have to re-ride a grade 2 just to get drive checks. And even if they're on grade 3, if they're unable to stride or re-ride, they're just getting 1 check off of a twin drive, which has happened to one of my friends in the past. Very strong card. I like it a lot. Helps the early game aggression if you go first. And even on a non-stride turn, you can just beef up your board with Meteor Bullet and Machine Armor Beetle and just shove everything down their throat that way, while still keeping triple drive even though you never strode. Other than that, that's really it for the grade 3s. For my G-Zone, I run 4 Gridoras, 3 Malajantis, 3 Overwhelm, 1 Suppressed Mutant DD Tyrantus, 2 Crew Evil, 1 Grysport, 1 Featherwall, 1 Relish Lady. Compared to my other deck lists, I took out the Paraspear and bumped up Gridora to 4 and put in the Tyrantus in its place because this deck needs to see the 4th Gridora, so that way you can call Meteor Bullet out of the deck to keep the aggression going and fulfilling his requirement if you already have one on the board. And it just helps, again, keep the aggression going. Tyrantus, again, if you get to GB8, it's just big numbers. Just go down their throat that you've been doing the whole entire game. It's just a fantastic card in the right deck. Then you got Malajantis, who can just minus your opponent's Vanguard by 10, or kill off one of their standing rearguards to countercharge 1 and draw a card, all for a counterblast, or free on the Vanguard circle. Or one could draw you between 0 to 5 cards or more, depending on how many rested rearguards they have, and can go potential crit and quad. Then GB3, all your units get 2,000 power for every face down damage your opponent has. So it helps with the aggression of the deck is trying to do. Crew Evil, fantastic generic G-Guard we could have got. Soul Blast 1, plus 30k shield. Then your opponent has to rest the rearguards to decrease its shield value by 10, which interrupts their play. Grysport just rests the back row when the Vanguard attacks, and it gets 5k shield for every 2 units. Featherwall can get 10k shield to be a 25k block. Relish Lady, when she's placed on Guardian Circle, you flip a G-Guard face up. Your opponent chooses 2 units to rest. If they do not, you do draw, soul charge, and counter charge, but that's only when the opponent's Vanguard attacks. Other than that, that's really it for the deck and the G-Zone. Now to show you where some of the power can come into play. Alright, so let's say this is your first turn. And you have 4 damage, you have this board set up. So what we can do is, you can use Armor Beetle skill, rest Crybrister, check the top 3, and then you can call any machining unit you want from the top 3, so call that. Undeck the rest. Now he is a 15k booster, so you can go ahead and pull him back, and you call like Spree Wasper. So now that Armor Beetle is 15, it's going to be a 28k column, because Wasper is going to get the 5k, which will put it 13. 13 plus 15 is 28. So right there is why it's also in the deck. Then you can use Meteor Bullet to rest Armor Beetle. Now that gets 10,000 power. So now you have a 30 to 35k column if Lord Dorcas power buff is live. Then what you do, you can counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, restand all of your rear guards, and they all get an additional 5,000 power, and your Vanguard is triple drive. So right there, you go from a 30 to 35 to a 40 to 45, and you go from a 28 to a 38k column with the Wasper and the Armor Beetle. Since now you have 5 units, Meteor Bullet will let all your machine rear guards in the back row boost. And now your Vanguard's triple drive. So you can just attack, then do your triple drive. Critical, all effects of the Wasper. Second check, and third check. So now Wasper is bigger and can hit the force numbers and overdress numbers very easily. Yeah, little Dorcas won't be able to do it, but little Dorcas and Meteor Bullet are still hitting like a truck. So if you're going second, you can still do this setup. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can either try Gridora or Overwhelm, either of which are 2 fantastic first tries, depending on the deck and match you're going for. You always want to flip over Malajantis no matter what first try, which is typically what all Mech Connie players do, because it activates in the G-Zone to reduce your opponent's power by 10k or kill a standing rearguard and get all the benefits of it. So you do Overwhelm, you draw a bunch of cards. Boom, just drew a bunch. You do Gridora instead to stun the Vanguard and all that, so that we can call out another meteor bullet to keep the attack going. But regardless, you're going to either want to bolster your hand or slow your opponent down. Because now, let's say you do all that. Now let's say you're unable to stride or ride. So you can just go ahead, use Malajanthus' skill, counterblast 1. You can move Wasper into the soul and minus your opponent's Vanguard by 10k. Then you can go ahead and you can call the crit trigger from your hand. And then you can use Armor Beetle to rest this, give yourself 6k. You can use Meteor Bullet to rest the Armor Beetle to get another 10k. Then you can go ahead and do Black Saturn skill, Soul Blast 1, restand all your units you rested. And now your opponent's Vanguard is minus 10k while you have bigger columns now. So instead of a 19k column, you are now at 29 for the Armor Beetle with the crit trigger. Now you're at the same threshold as I was demonstrating with the Meteor Bullet and the Little Dorcas. You're hitting for 40k now while they're minus 10. And you still have triple drive. So you can swing with this, move this into soul to draw a card. And now that Meteor Bullet is at rest, on the Vanguard swing, your opponent cannot intercept. So then you can do your triple drive after they guard. Give all the effects to the remaining standing rear guard, whether it's Meteor Bullet, Red Soldier, another Wasper, for example, and just keep on the offensive that way. Obviously, you want to stride, but being on Black Saturn can help a lot to make up benefits for it. Because there are some games where I'm unable to stride. And it's a bully beatdown deck. Your ideal back row is to have triple Armor Beetle in the back row. So that way if you have all three in the back row, it locks them out from boosting and intercepting for the rest of the game, as long as you don't face a lock or a tire deck or anything that messes with your back row. That's really it for the deck. That's a nice, fun deck. Took me a while to find the build because it's machining. They're all over the place. But I feel like this is the correct path, in my opinion, to go with the deck. There's other builds out there, so have fun with the deck, tinker it around, and find a build you like. Maybe yours will be better than my build. Who knows? And with the future Stochea support coming out, maybe we can find a way to buff this deck even farther than it can go. Until next time, card fighters, stay safe.